And you're welcome to this edition of our Extra Special segment, where we touch on the most pressing issues affecting our community. Now, today we address a topic that has sparked widespread debate and concern among vehicle owners across Nigeria. Recently, the Nigeria Police Force announced the suspension of the enforcement of the electronic Central Motor Registry of vehicle owners, a move that has been met with both criticism and relief. The e-CMR, initially set to be enforced from July 29, 2024, aims to provide a comprehensive database to curb vehicular crimes by allowing officers real-time access to vehicle data.
Now, the decision to suspend enforcement was made by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to allow for more mass enlightenment and education of the public on the benefits and processes involved in the e-CMR. Now, this move comes after significant backlash from various quarters, including the Nigeria Bar Association, which argued that the police should not be responsible for issuing such vehicle documents. Now, the suspension is intended to give citizens a bit of ample time to understand the new system and its implication for vehicle security and crime prevention.
In his statement, police spokesperson Oluwatimilayin Sanwo highlighted the potential benefits of the e-CMR, such as preventing multiple vehicle registrations and also enhancing the national database with biometric and other data of vehicle owners. Despite these advantages, the initial announcement faced criticism for its perceived lack of public awareness and the suddenness of its implementation. The police have now committed to a more gradual approach, focusing on educating the public before any enforcement begins. Now, given the importance of this issue, we felt it necessary to provide our audience with a comprehensive understanding on the registration process and also implications of the suggested e-CMR. To this end, we have invited two distinguished guests to shed light on the subject. Joining us today are SRC Abiodun Ibrahim from the Federal Road Safety Corps and also Oluwatimilayin Sanwo, an expert in auto securities. They'll be helping us navigate the complexities of vehicle registration and security, ensuring that you are well informed and prepared for any upcoming changes. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Good
to have you.
Thank you. Good to have you.
First of Judith, I'd like us to start with Timilayin here regarding the e-CMR debacle. Let's put it that way. We heard it was coming. You talked about it not even only just month. You spoke about it a couple of months ago when it was first announced. And then now the police have backtracked. They've taken this policy out. What were the potential benefits or maybe even flaws of the e-CMR should it have gone through with?
Okay, so firstly, the e-CMR was not cancelled, it was suspended. And it's not a new document like it's being put out there. It's just an electronic version of a document that used to exist, which is the CMR. So before now, we used to have a CMR document that was written with biro. I mean, for a very long time, I used to think it was just a way of tipping the police when you buy a new vehicle. I really didn't see the essence of. And in every vehicle registration agency, there's always a police officer that issues these documents. But there is no clear database of all these documents. And that is why the e-CMR came to place, where we say, okay, now all these documents is going to be electronic, and it's going to be done electronically, which is contrary to the way it was being done before. So, I mean, that is really the basis of the e-CMR.
Okay.
Let me come to you, SRC Abiodun Ibrahim, and just ask about, I'm a vehicle owner, first time purchase a new car. And I've just purchased a new car. What are the key steps involved in the proper registration of this vehicle when it comes to documentation? And what are the common mistakes vehicle owners should be aware of or literally just making for the first time?
Thank you very much. Vehicle registration is simply a process of registering a vehicle with the relevant authorities. And to obtain a license, and this license comprises of the proof of ownership certificate, the vehicle license, the roadworthiness certificate, and insurance. This license will enable the vehicle owners to operate such vehicles on public road. And it is a critical aspect of vehicle ownership, which is mandatory in most countries, including ours. And as a first owner, like you said, their registration is called initial registration, which in our local times we call fresh registration. I'm buying a new car that is being imported into the country that has not been registered in Nigeria. So what you're doing, I'm taking Lagos for example. They have station, about more than 50 stations where you can register your vehicle. You walk in there, you produce your custom paper with the VIN, which is chassis number. Our people will call it chassis number. So when you provide that VIN number and an auto VIN check is done on it to tell us the history of that vehicle, if that vehicle has not been registered in the country. So from there you take it up, they produce your vehicle license, allocate a proof of ownership certificate to you and a regular number if it's for private use. But if a vehicle that has been used by someone before, that vehicle is called transfer of ownership, or we call it change of ownership. So I'm simply selling my vehicle to Mr. Mazino. So my database, my information is on the database of the state. And equally, FRSA have their own database at the federal level that houses information of all vehicles in the country. So I'm selling that vehicle to you, and you are trying to register it. The system will complain, Mr. Ibrahim is using this vehicle. There is need for you to do change of ownership, which is another process of registration entirely. But registering a vehicle, especially in Lagos, is easier to be done. And like I said, the very important document, the vehicle license, which the state will allocate to you, the roadworthiness certificate from the VIO, the insurance from the insurance company, and the proof of ownership certificates that comes with the number.
What are some first-time mistakes? What are some mistakes, common mistakes that you see vehicle owners making in documentation and getting their papers?
Well, most first-timers doesn't really go through that process. In like Lagos now, they have people we call client representative who assist people in registering their vehicles. And you can easily, their stations is all over the state. You can easily walk in there. They tell you the procedure. There is a paper called allocation paper. You fill in all your details, the names, address, and when it's not complete, some people will just write number 8, Wenko Road. And Wenko Road can be in Abeokuta. So they will tell you Wenko Road is in Ikeja, Lagos. So those are just some of the mistakes. And the VIN number, the state have put mechanism in place to verify VIN number. So if you are providing a VIN number that is not okay, the system will tell you that, check this VIN number. So there is so many, those are some of the mistakes individuals make.
So it would seem that there is a database already for vehicles, documentation, your VIN number, chassis number, whatever.
Yeah.
It's in a database for the FRSC.
Yes.
So now
FRSC.
when it came, and I use past tense deliberately, to the issue of the e-CMR, Time, I'm bringing you back in on this one now. Why? Because you talked about the fact that it was existing before, and now it's only just simply being electronic, just so that you have your data inside of a system. But there was a database, as you're telling us now. So what did you think was the rationale behind that at the end of the day? Why so many agencies for car documentation when we have the FRSC? I know you're going to answer this as well. When we have the FRSC, if I'm going to start counting, there's VIO, police will also stop, then customs when you're traveling. There's so many. But what gives, do you think, your professional experience?
Thank you for that question. So, like you said, the vehicle licensing documents and the database is state-wise. It is not centralized. But police is one across the country. So for police to use their data, police need a central data that brings up everything together. We currently don't have that. And if we even go deeper into this issue, and that is why I'm really passionate about the e-CMR, because it is one of the first phases of digitalizing even the police. And if we are saying that police brutality on the road and everything needs to stop, this is one of those things that we need to even put. But even if we want to go even higher, even from the customs, the vehicle coming into the customs should already be in the database already before you even register. You are not supposed to be taking the VIN number or the chassis number to FRSC to register a vehicle or to road safety. It should be once customs is clearing the vehicle, we should already have that data. Then that data is used centrally. But right now, the database that exists per state. And that is why I can say that the roadworthiness procedure in Lagos State is a bit tedious. So rather, I can just decide I want to go and do my roadworthiness in Ogun State.
I want to jump on that, and I want to come back to you, Superintendent. Now, he just mentioned something about the lack of centralization of these data mechanism. Why is that so? Why do I have a state central system in one place and a federal one in the other? For instance, if I bought a car, and this did happen from Rivers State, and I tried to register it here in Lagos State, I'm asked to go back to Rivers State, and the process is tedious. If you were to commit an offense in Lagos State with an Abuja plate, for instance, the rumor, and I say this deliberately, the rumor is that you are not captured in the system. Is this true?
Let me start from this angle. Now, all number plates that is being used in this country is being produced by Federal Road Safety Corps, except that of Lagos. The states have their own plant that does their production. And when that production is being done, they furnish FRS headquarters with the numbers and the range of number plates that are being produced. So that is captured into the National Vehicle Identification Scheme, the NVIS portal. Now, when FRSC produces number plates for other states, the state comes to FRSC to pick those number plates. When they sell it to individual, the state house those information and push it into FRSC database. They push it. FRSC doesn't register number plates. We only produce the same way we produce driver's license. So when we produce those number plates, the state, through their Board of Internal Revenue, comes around, picks those number plates, sell it to Mr. A, Mr. B. Mr. A lives at so-so place. They give us the information, and they push it into FRSC database. So that is how we house our own information. And it's necessary, too, for the state. If it's Ogun State plate, they should have the information of whoever is using that place. And coming to what he said, on several times, it comes to my table when investigation is being done. The DSS, NDLEA, Civil Defense, they write letter to the sector commander in Lagos or whoever is the sector commander in that particular state. And the desk officer, the NVIS desk officer in that state, furnish the authority with those information of the vehicle. So on e-CMR is not a topic I can talk on because I'm not a personnel of the police. But the FRSC, the same way the state houses information of number plates allocated to individual, we do same too.
I would like to ask, and I'm doing this for everybody out there, I'm very sure, if you can state a differentiation of responsibility across the agencies. What exactly is the VIO responsible for? What's the FRSC responsible for? What are the police looking for when they stop me on the highways? Yeah,
because very interesting with their duplicity. Everyone is duplicating each other's rules and responsibility.
What are the customs looking for? Should they be out there? Who should I attend to?
Now, I can't really speak for other agencies. Like I said at the beginning of the interview, the basic document for vehicle owners is the vehicle license, the roadworthiness, which is being issued by the VIO. The insurance, every vehicle is expected to have insurance, and the proof of ownership certificates being issued by the authority that is licensed to do that. So FRSC is just housing those information. We are not collecting money to do that. It's just a database at the federal level. We are just housing those information because we did the production of those number plates. So I can't really speak on other agencies, but the VIO, they house those information because of the roadworthiness certificate, which all vehicle needs. So, and at state level, each state have their own consultant who helps them to run the vehicle license. So in Lagos, I think it's the Courtview solution. We call them auto-reg. They are the one in charge. So they house all those information for Lagos number, and they equally push SIM into the national database, which is the FRSC database. So on the e-CMR issue, It's
Noted.
yeah, it's
Did
not
you have
my
a final question?
I mean, you've answered up pretty much all the question, but then the situations talks about, addressing the issue of fraudulent documentation, and how best can you now ensure the integrity of the vehicle registration system and process for just our viewers as individuals?
Well, like I said, sometimes around last year in Lagos State, there is this thing they call AutoVin. AutoVin will always verify the history of your vehicle. And if you are bringing...
Do I have access to it as an individual?
You don't. It's being handled by the VIS in Lagos. So what they do is we've seen situations whereby they've brought in 2 vehicles with the same chassis number, and it's not possible. I don't know if you've observed it. 2 vehicles using the same chassis number. Yeah. And our management at the headquarters provided us with an OBD scanner. So we can use that to scan vehicle, even if you are seeing a different number on that vehicle. And the scanner will tell us this is the chassis. So there is so many ways people are coming out with fraudulent ways of registering vehicle. And the system too is getting hooked of them. So those issues, people are coming up with a different way, and the system is really getting
Timilayin, in 1 minute, you're an advocate for the e-CMR.
Yeah.
What do you hope, or what modus operandi do you hope the Nigerian police could go about this so that it's not a burden on vehicle owners? In just a minute.
Well, I feel like what is really important is enlightenment and understanding the reason why the e-CMR is important. But yeah, in terms of what I feel like can be done better in terms of the costs. The cost has been a concern, and the renewal, the fact that it has to be renewed yearly, is also. But in terms of the real advantage of the e-CMR, I think the e-CMR is a very important document that needs to be, that we actually need to have, because most crimes are perpetrated with the use of a vehicle one way or the other. And for easy tracking of these vehicles, database needs to be got. And aside from that also, the e-CMR is also linking your NIN to your...
So am I giving the police access to my account?
Data. I mean, there's also a conversation about data privacy as well,
exactly.
I mean, this is...
all that needs to be discussed.
It's the police.
Because I'm not very comfortable with somebody in black and black having access. He's got 2,000 naira. But I wish we could continue, but unfortunately we have run out of time for the entire show for today. But Timilayin, I want to say thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Superintendent Ibrahim, thank you very much for coming in as well, representing the FRC. And also let's say thank you to our viewers. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. You guys are always the ones that we do this for. We appreciate that you guys have taken out time to be here up until 10 o'clock.